I'm Sidhu here at Sabras Radio. Now, one of my next guests has gone from being a radio DJ, of course, that's where it all begins, TV host, anchor, singer, and actor, string of hits, including Vicky Donor, Article 15, Badai Ho. The list is endless. Yes, he joins me now. I am talking about Ayushman Khurana alongside his female lead in his next film, Andrea Kevichusa, from the film Anek. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to have you with us here at Sabras Radio.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here and basically get you to your fans, your listeners. Of course, here in Leicester, we have a huge Asian population. I know you have recently actually been to the UK, Ayushman, which I'll talk to you about in just a moment. I'm not sure if you made it up to Leicester, but we're one of the cities here in the UK where we have more Asians than we do have in terms of the English population. So welcome to the station, welcome to the area.
Thank you.
When I think of you, Ayushman, I think of you representing real stories, real people stories, you know, from LBGT to crimes against women. Now you're here, and it seems to be, from what I can gather from watching the trailer of Anek, that you're representing Northeast India. Would you say that's true?
It's not me who's representing Northeast India. It's Andrea Kevichusa who's representing Northeast India. But yes, I am a protagonist in this film, and it's an honor to work with Anubhav Sinha, who has chosen such a beautiful story, which is full of empathy. And it's an eye-opener and one of its kind in Indian cinema.
Yes, and of course you've worked with him before. How did this story come to you this time?
We keep on discussing a lot of stories, Anubhav sir and I. And he came up with this story on Northeast. And I remember a couple of years back, I read it at night, like around 2 or 3 o'clock. I called him. He was in London that time. Yes, he was in London that time. And we were really excited to do this film because, as I said, it's novel, it's an unexplored territory, and that's what excites me most of the times. And it's happened now.
Can you tell us a bit about your character in this film?
My character's name is Joshua. He's an undercover cop. His other name is Aman, and it's about a guy who goes to Northeast, and his mission is to unite people and spread a certain message of peace. And it's the macro way of describing it, but it's not just about Northeast, it's relevant anywhere in the world.
Thank you. And Andrea, let me just bring you in. So of course you're the female lead in the film. Is this the first film that you've done, first Bollywood film that you've done?
Yeah, it is. And I'm so delighted to have had Sir Anubhav and Ayushman to be working with them for my first time.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about your character.
I play a boxer, and she is relentless on making it to the national team to get a chance to represent her country internationally, while also kind of being set aside because of the way she looks and where she's from. So yeah, I mean, she's just trying to figure out why she can't be as Indian as the rest of her peers. Yeah.
So do you think that this film tackles the issue of racism within India?
Yeah, I mean, racism is prevalent everywhere, I would say, but definitely there are things other than racism. I think there's also discrimination and underrepresentation that this film kind of tackles also, and I think it has done a beautiful job at it.
That's great. That's great. Well, Ayushman, it's a very action-packed film. I think that's the impression that I got from the trailer. Andrea, you just described your role as you're a boxer. For either of you, was there a certain amount of training that you needed to do to fulfill this role? Was there anything new for you, Ayushman?
It's just not an action film, it's a political thriller as well. And for me, there's basic stunt training and how to use the gun and stuff like that. And I did a lot of cardio also because Anubhav sir wanted me to look good when I run. So it's like not all the actors look great when they run. So I did a lot of running and weightlifting. I want to have a certain body type for this particular film. And yes, I think it worked because it's a different character for me because I've played a lot of characters which are vulnerable and not that alpha, you know. So this one is an alpha character, and of course, Andrea also worked on boxing
Yeah,
skills.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm not a boxer in real life. But yeah, I had to take a lot of boxing classes, and also I had to gain weight to look the part.
You had to
Yeah,
gain weight.
yeah, because like I don't, I don't look like a boxer. So yeah, I had to look pretty toned and
So when you say that you had to gain weight, were you like building muscle,
yeah, I had to
to
kind
get
of
the physique of a boxer?
get the cuts and stuff. And yeah, I also had to take. I mean, we needed the fights to look realistic as possible. So we had a lot of action training, and I also learned how to ride a bike. I didn't know how to ride a bike, so yeah, so a lot of those things.
That's amazing. I love the fact that you learned how to ride a bike. That's great. Ayushman, so you have recently been here in the UK. You spent a couple of months. Now, rumor has it, a little bird tells me that you found it very cold. You found it very cold.
It was quite cold, yes. It depends what you're wearing while shooting. Because I was just wearing a t-shirt and a jacket, so it was quite cold in January and February, like peak of winters in Isle of Wight, Hastings, and London. So even she was there in London, I think, for a couple of months, but not the same time. I was
Yeah.
shooting for Action Hero though, so it's again an action film, very different for me. But I love the UK. It's
You
beautiful.
love the UK. Well, that's good to hear. I was really surprised when I heard about how you really struggled with the cold here, because I know you're from Chandigarh, right? You're from the north. So I'm a Punjaban. My family's from Punjab, even though I'm born here. So, but I have done the winters over there, and they, I found them tough because, like, where my family is from in the Punjab, there was no central heating, there was no carpets, it was very rural. So a very different experience. Where here, we tend to like blast the heating. We know how to keep ourselves warm. But obviously, you said you came with t-shirts, so.
Yeah, Punjab ਚ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਰਜਾਈ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ because there is no central heating.
ਰਜਾਈ ਦੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਬੋਤਲ ਵੀ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ. But in while you're shooting, it was very windy in UK, and I was just wearing like just denims and t-shirt and a thin jacket, so it was not good enough for that weather and do action and run and climb buildings. So it was tough. So yeah, it's just more than just battling the cold.
Yeah. Well, it was the first film that you've actually shot outside of India as well. So that's great for us that you came to the UK first to do that, because of course, I'm sure you're just going to be traveling internationally now, making all these films in fantastic locations. But what would you say to your fans here in the UK in terms of watching Anek?
Anek is a very, very special film. It's a very important film. You cannot be watching this film with a commercial lens because it's more than that. It's more than that because it has certain value, which will bind the people of subcontinent together. And it's not just about Northeast. It could be about any other state where insurgency is there, or it could be anywhere in the world where people are, suffering from racism, or they are having being discriminated. So I guess it's a very global film for me. It's not just about India. It's about getting different communities, regions, religions together, and the feeling of oneness. Though it has that undertone of patriotism and nationalism, but at the same time, it's very global in its approach.
Yeah, and very good points that you've raised there, because racism and discrimination, it's an issue that we have everywhere. I've yet to come across anywhere in the world where that doesn't exist. So it's good to educate, it's good to, open up our minds and see what are we actually doing, how are we thinking, and challenge that as a society. But what have you got coming up next? What are your next, I know you're working quite hard.
Couple of films more this year. One is Dr. G with Anubhuti Kashyap, and other one is Action Hero with Anand L. Rai's production, and Anirudh Iyer is the director. So these two films will be coming up this year.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Andrea, what about yourself? Now that you've started, you started with this huge blockbuster. What's next for you?
I don't really know what life has in store for me yet. I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm not like this guy that's like working really hard.
Come on, she's just 21. So what do you
Yeah,
expect?
whatever happens.
21 and making your first film. How exciting. But looking forward to seeing you both there on screen, watching you in the film. But great talking to you guys today. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us at Sabras Radio.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Pam. Sat Sri Akal. Bye.